Welcome everyone to Me Incorporated, building a personal brand for life and work. My name is Lisa Ann Alexander, also known as the Marketing Stylist. I'm the owner of a company called Pretty Work Creative. We are where great stories come to get told. We provide video content creation, video production, and brand development for our clients. I'm also the author of What Million Dollar Brands Know, Marketing and Branding Strategies for Today's Entrepreneur. I'm also the producer of an award-winning documentary called What Mercy Looks Like. And I have the honor of speaking to audiences about marketing, communication, and leadership. If you'd like to connect with me online or if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Just reach out on Twitter and Instagram at Lisa N. Alexander, or you can email me at lisa@meincorporatedpb.com. All right, let's get started. So we're all familiar with big brands. Nike, McDonald's, Apple, Starbucks, and Coca-Cola are all very popular brands. They're huge multinational companies that have a presence and audiences almost all over the world. And most of us would recognize celebrity brands such as Kylie Jenner, Rihanna, Oprah, and Beyonce. But the most important and valuable brand you'll ever encounter is yours. You, ladies and gentlemen, are your own personal brand. Now, this idea of personal branding isn't a new concept. We've been highlighting our skill and expertise for centuries, but this idea exploded in the past 15 years. We first heard about personal branding in Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, and the phrase resurfaced in a book, Positioning the Battle for Your Mind, in 1981. So how do we define personal branding? Well, here's what it is not. Branding isn't a flashy logo or a mood board or a host of color palettes or a website with your branded URL. Branding is so much more. Here's what branding is. You ready? Branding is defining and controlling the narrative and perception that your target audience has of you based on online and offline experiences. It's this collection of perceptions about you in the mind of the people who matter. And branding done right means that their perceptions and your intentions match. That's when you know you're doing branding right. In order to build a strong personal brand, you'll need to identify your values, your unique skills, experiences, your stories, personality, and image. But why develop your personal brand? Why do all this work? Because it is work to create a personal brand. Here are my top 5 reasons to do so. Number 1, you don't want anyone else creating your narrative for you. They can and will get it totally and utterly wrong. Creating your narrative puts you in control. Number 2, creating your personal brand allows you to stand out from your competition. Your skill, experience, story, and personality are unique to you. This is what we call your unique selling proposition, or USP. Knowing your USP allows you to position yourself in the marketplace and in the workplace. You're taking your values, your experiences, and skills and positioning them in front of the people you want to influence, the people who you want to hire you or promote you. These people are also known as your target audience. Number 3, creating your personal brand allows you to attract the right people to you. If you keep meeting the wrong people and having undesirable experiences, I would highly suggest you go through this personal brand building process. There's a disconnect somewhere, and we call this brand confusion, and it can be costly. It can cost you time, opportunities, and money. Number 4, building your personal brand helps you determine who you really are, and that's no small thing. I worked with a client, and we'll call her Grace. Grace contracted me to build a new logo for her, and at the time she considered herself a health and wellness coach. She wasn't happy with the logo that was created for her, and she wanted me to come up with something new. So after our initial conversation, I struggled coming up with the design. You see, I understood that a new logo was the least of her problems. Grace had an identity crisis. She wasn't a health and wellness coach in the typical sense. Grace has lupus, and that's an autoimmune disease that attacks your organs, and she had lived with the diagnosis for the past 30 years. And during those 30 years, she learned how to eat. She learned about all the latest drug therapies and how to counteract certain side effects. Once we determined who she really was and who she was called to serve in the marketplace, developing a new brand for her was a thing of ease. She was able to connect with the right people and charge accordingly, which brings us to point number 5. Developing your personal brand allows you to charge a premium or negotiate for a higher salary. Why? Because you've defined your value and highlighted your expertise, and you have proof. So when I walk clients through this process, one of the first things we do is develop their vision and mission statements. And I think everybody's familiar with these, right? Your company probably has the mission statement hanging up in the lobby or in the break room. Well, your personal brand needs a vision and mission statement too. And this goes back to point number 3, determining who you really are. So let's talk about this vision statement. Your vision is your personal why. It's your reason for getting up every day. With a clear vision, you'll have a guide for good decisions. You'll know what to say yes to and what to say no to. Vision helps you think long term and maintain balance. Vision statements can be as simple as live between the dash. You know, the dash between your birth date and death date. Your vision can to be just live fully in the dash, live fully in the moment. Or it could be make support roles sexy. You're an admin professional and proud of it and think that everybody should serve in this role. So these statements are what fuel people. They reflect passion. So what are you passionate about? What's your personal why? What excites you and motivates you? Once you figure out your why, then it's time to build your mission statement. And remember, we said your vision statement is your why, your mission statement is how. Now, coming up with your mission statement can be difficult, but thankfully there's a formula. And it was created by a very smart man named Mr. William Arruda. And the formula is simply this: the value you create plus who you're creating it for plus the expected outcome equals your mission statement. We talked about your vision. Now let's talk about value. It's the first variable in our mission statement equation. In marketing, there is such a thing called brand value. It's what makes some people buy coffee from McDonald's and others from Starbucks. Starbucks can charge substantially more for basically the same Arabica bean than McDonald's because of brand value. Let's say you need a new iron, or you're looking for a new microwave, or just need to buy basic household goods. Where do you go? Walmart or Target? It's the same iron, it's the same microwave, it's the same brand of toothpaste. But what is it that makes some people pay more for the same product? Perceived brand value. It's what a customer is willing to pay or not for a product or service. When the experience and the customer service are vastly different, brand value is affected. Again, same product, different experience can alter a brand's perceived value. Since we're talking about personal branding, the important question you have to ask yourself is, what value do I bring? And most important, how do people value what I bring to the table? Determining value is one of the first things we identified as necessary when building a strong brand. Let's define your values as your non-negotiables. If everything falls apart around you, these are the truths that are constant. For me, 2 values that I hold dear come from the book, The 4 Agreements. Be impeccable with your word, and 2, always do your best. These are my 2 non-negotiables, and my clients appreciate these values. So, what are your non-negotiables? What are some of your personal attributes or skills that you consider valuable? What skills or expertise would others consider valuable. The next variable in the equation asks you who you're creating this value for. In marketing, we call this group your target audience or your avatar. It's important to define the people you want to influence. This can be family, a boss, a director, or even a community. This is important in personal branding because your target audience is for whom you're creating content for. This is who you're posting for. This particularly defines your online conversations. So who are the people you want to influence? Do you know their names? Do you know their titles? Find out who these people are because they're an important part of the mission statement equation. Finally, what do you hope to achieve? It's the last part of our equation. The value you create plus who you're creating that for, and you want the expected outcome. So what do you want to see happen as a result of your bringing your values and your audience together? I'm a firm believer in win-wins, and your outcome will be reflected in your completed mission statement. Because no one wants to feel like they're being taken advantage of. No one wants to be on the wrong side of a self-serving transaction. Unfortunately, we all know this feeling, especially the people who bought tickets to that infamous Fire Festival. This event was a branding and business nightmare, and festival goers were the clear losers. But it started off well enough. The promise of great music, great food, beautiful venues, celebrity endorsements that we would later find out were paid for. The beautiful pictures shown on social media didn't match the reality of festival goers. Instead of the luxury villas and gourmet meals that cost thousands of dollars, these people received prepackaged sandwiches and FEMA tents as their accommodations. The value was supposed to be provided didn't match the outcome. In the end, lawsuits were filed and the festival organizer was sentenced to 6 years in jail. Our encounters with our target audiences are supposed to be mutually beneficial, and your completed mission statement beautifully states winning outcomes for all involved. So let's meet Karen. Karen is an administrative assistant and she works for a tech company. She's worked there for 3 years, and Karen has always been passionate about the environment. Even when she was in high school, she was the one who volunteered to pick up trash from the beach near her home as a community service project. This is who she was. Karen doesn't own a car. She takes public transportation or rides her bike wherever she needs to go. And for important occasions, she'll rent a car or she'll use a ride-sharing service. So understandably, Karen's vision, the thing that excites her and motivates her are all things environmental. So her vision statement could simply read, a clean earth for all. Now, if we use the formula, her mission statement, it could read something like this: to live minimally and reduce waste in order to reduce my carbon footprint and leave a healthier planet for the next generation. So now that we know this about Karen, how might she show up in the workplace? In addition to these glimpses of her life, what kinds of things would she post online? Remember, we said that by building out your personal brand, you gain clarity. You know what opportunities to entertain and which to let pass. So let me introduce you to Ashley. Ashley took the time to build out her personal brand. She knows her why. She understands the value that she brings. She's intentional about her online and offline interactions. She's authentic and transparent, and she knows what she wants. So Ashley is an executive assistant who works for a VP at an oil and gas company. She's worked for the company for 5 years now, and she gets glowing reviews. She stays current on all of her trainings, and she even studies trends in her field. And the job pays her well, and she has great benefits. There are 2 things that Ashley is passionate about: bringing order into the world and working with children on the spectrum. You see, Ashley's brother is autistic, and when she was in college, she worked for a nonprofit that helped nonverbal youth and young adults through music therapy. Her brother would attend the weekly program, and she was amazed at her brother's transformation. Ashley worked with the director of the nonprofit and helped with fundraising, event planning, and created reports and case studies of each of the students' progress. This position made her happy. She felt alive because she was using her skill in an environment where she was passionate about it. On her LinkedIn profile, of course, it highlighted all of her professional skills and recommendations from those who had worked with her. She included her job from college and frequently posted about children on the spectrum and innovative new therapies. These posts were intentional and fused in between her work-based content. So when a recruiter reached out to Ashley on LinkedIn about a position with a large nonprofit agency that works with children on the spectrum, whether or not to take the interview was a no-brainer. This new position only pays her 3% more annually than her current position, and the benefits will cost her a little bit more. However, she gets to work from home 2 days a week, and they have an employee 401k matching program. And she's supporting an organization that fuels her passion, because Ashley took the time to identify her strengths, her values, and her experiences, because she cultivated her stories and was intentional in her online and offline conversations, because she was authentic in all of those spaces. She set herself up to be seen and recognized by her target audience, and it was a no-brainer when the right opportunity presented itself. This is what building a personal brand can do for you. It will help you figure out your purpose and your passion. It will help you define the people you want to influence. Personal branding allows you to control your narrative. It helps you determine your goals and your next logical steps. And it dictates where you show up in life and at work, whether you're on or offline. Personal branding is taking intentional steps in order to get what you want out of life and work. Thank you so much for your time. My time is up. And as always, I've enjoyed spending some time with you. I hope you'll use this content to begin building your personal brand and positioning yourself to reach your goals. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me at lisa@meincorporatedpb.com. If you want to dive deeper and need help building your personal brand, I invite you to take the Me Incorporated course online. Just go to meincorporatedpb.com and register. Thanks, everybody.